Hey guys, MCU Collector here with another figure review. Next up is the Hasbro Marvel Legends series, the Marvel Studios, or now Marvel Animation, X-Men 97 Wave 2 figure of Jean Grey. I was able to get half of the way from toysnowman.com, so link in the video description below, which is my referral link, which will give you a 5% off coupon code for first-time users, or when you create a new account, you get 5% off coupon code in your Frost Rewards. Check out toysnowman.com. They are based in Canada, but ship out to the US. They do have Jean Grey in stock right now, so link in the video description below. So here we have Jean Grey. We've gotten a couple of Jean Greys before. We had the Love Triangle set Jean Grey, which, you know, put her in the Jim Lee suit, which was really exciting to get at the time. And then we also had the VHS release for the X-Men the Animated Series, which was the same figure, but added some cell shading, and, you know, obviously some color shades and things are a little bit different there, as you can see. But now we have, for the continuation series, the X-Men 97, we have a brand new Jean Grey. Looks like everything is new. Maybe the hands are reused. I'm not even sure about that. They might be brand new as well. But we get a new Jean Grey figure that is lacking any kind of upper body articulation, whereas these ones had the diaphragm joint, which wasn't very effective at all, but at least you got some tilt. This one has, I believe, a ball joint waist, so let's see how much that will be able to move around, and we can kind of compare. The great thing about this is it's pinless, so we get double jointed elbows, and then we have more sturdy legs, or should be more sturdy legs, versus these ones, which were a little bit gummy. So I'm excited to check out this Jean Grey. I think the head sculpts look better than the previous ones as well. Not that the other ones were terrible, but I think we're better. So here we have the entire wave. This is the last figure for X-Men 97 that we are going to review. The series debuts on Disney Plus on March 20th, so pretty excited about that. I am actually going to be driving down to Disneyland later today, and I wonder if they're going to have any X-Men 97 merch available at the park, so I'm excited to check it out. Let's look at the figure. Okay, so here's the Jean Grey figure out of the package. You know, it's pretty good. The ball joint waist is pretty limited, but the diaphragm joint on the previous ones and literally every other female figure is pretty bad to begin with anyway. So I don't know that it takes away articulation necessarily. So I think it's going to kind of equal out to be a wash kind of thing. So it's the same amount of articulation. Well, actually, technically more because the elbows get double joints. But in, you know, the upper torso, you know, typically female figures don't have a waist swivel, so at least we get the ball joint waist. So it's kind of a wash. The figure is pretty good. One issue that I do have with my figure, and I don't know if this is a thing or if this is how it's supposed to be, the ponytail came right out of the package. As soon as I opened up, the ponytail just boom hit the floor. I don't think it's supposed to be removable because I see a little blue residue in there, so I feel like it was probably glued in and then this glue just didn't hold. So I don't know if it was meant to swivel or if mine's just loose, but it keeps popping out and it's pissing me off, to be honest with you. So be careful with that. You guys let me know in the comments below. Is your ponytail stuck in there pretty good, or is yours come off like mine does? Because again, I do not like it. Not a fan of that happening. But the figure itself looks really good. I like we have the sculpted line work on her legs as part of her uniform, which is pretty cool. The previous one, you know, wasn't like that. We had some pouches or something there on the side, so it's kind of interesting. Her suit is a little bit different, as you can see. I looked at images of the X-Men animated series to kind of look back, and this definitely was like the look for the animated show. So the suit itself is getting changed for X-Men 97, which is interesting because I don't think anybody else's suit necessarily changed. There might be some slight color variations and that sort of thing, but I think for the most part the suits are really the same. Because so why Jean Grey would kind of get the update, I'm not sure, unless there's something I'm missing and not really seeing it, because I'm looking at, you know, like the blue stripe down the center of her body kind of going around, where on the previous one it goes around her entire body, whereas this one, as you can see, it does not go all the way down. So interesting. I think this one actually looks better compared to this one. This one's definitely a look I like a little bit more, and then those sculpted lines just really make it stand out a little bit more, adding some detail, which is cool. So let's get in for a closer look and look at the two head sculpts. They're pretty good. I don't have any issues with them other than, well, I do have a little bit of an issue, the ponytail on this one, but something weird on the forehead. So let's take a look at that. Okay, so now we have a closer look looking at Jean Grey, and the head sculpt looks pretty good. The digital print came out looking nice. No real complaints there. One thing that is odd to me that I just not the biggest fan of is, see just the top of kind of her cowl there. You see the blue. Technically, shouldn't that be her forehead? I mean, if it is, it's massive forehead. So that's number one. But because they have the sculpted line of the cowl, Why then is there just that empty blue space there? Shouldn't it be the same, either the same color as her hair, or the hair should come all the way down to the cowl line? To me, it just looks a little bit weird. Is it that big of a deal? No, it's really not. But it's noticeable. Like, I'm looking at it, I'm like, wait a second, that just looks a little funky, right? That just looks a little bit off. And then again, the ponytail thing is really kind of bothering me right there, because it keeps falling out. It's just comes off a little too easily. There. Looking at the hair, as you can see, we get much wider details in the sculpt lines of the hair, because it is, animated series based. I'm looking through the viewfinder of my camera, and the hair is coming off very orange, but in front of me, it's a very dark orange. This looks like a brighter through the viewfinder. I'm not sure how it's going to come across on TV or through your phone in the YouTube app, how you're going to watch it. But it's definitely darker in person, and not as bright as I'm seeing in here, and that could be just kind of some of the lighting and things that I got going on. We got this pouch there on her arm that's sculpted. The gauntlet pieces are actually sculpted on. They're not like floating pieces that were kind of large on the previous one. As you can see how bulky they were on her arms, so it's kind of nice. We get that change up there. Looks good. And again, not really the pouch on the side, but we get all the sculpted detail there in her legs. And it just looks so much better. And we're pinless, so it's all around nice. The belt is not a floating... actually, I guess the belt is a floating piece. I was thinking that was part of the sculpt. It is a floating piece. That's interesting. But I like this one a little bit more than that. The red X versus the black X. I kind of like the way that looks. So again, I really like the new style costume there. The shoulder pads will move with the arm. They're not going to get in the way. They're not going to interfere. There's a little bit of flexibility to them, so that's good. So anyway, that's the ponytailed head sculpt. We do get a second head sculpt. Oops, see? Look at that. Just because I touch it, my hand goes across it, it just pops out that ponytail. That bothers me. Dumbbell joint peg for the head. And let's get this one on there. This one's a little bit tricky because of the way the hair is. It flows over. So like I want to get my finger in there to support the back, but then the hair gets in the way, so I don't know if I really got that head sculpt down like it really should. But there we go. Her hair is down. I think this looks pretty good. To me, it kind of looks like she's looking up. But I like it. Looks pretty good. No complaints there. The digital print came out nice looking. The hair again is that darker orange, whereas here it looks a little bit lighter in color, I think. And I think that's just because of how my lighting in the video is going to kind of end up looking. But there we go. You guys let me know down in the comments below, which head sculpt do you prefer? I think I like the ponytail one a little bit more. But this one is good too. And as you could see, we had two different ones in the previous one. So we had this one with the big ass hair. And then we also had the other pony style one of the two previous ones. But then this one, we have hair down that's not nearly as long. A little bit easier to manage. And then the ponytail isn't as crazy either on the new one. So you guys let me know down in the comments below which one is your favorite. I think I'm going to go with the new ponytail. But this one's good too. Okay, let's go ahead and move on to the articulation for Jean Grey. I did swap out the heads so we can see kind of some better movement in the head sculpt with the one with the hair draped over the shoulders. Definitely going to be a problem getting the head to move around, but we do get some nice tilt in there, as you can see. Of course, you get side-by-side motion. And with my ponytail, the situation where it is, I can do a full rotation because I can move that ponytail around. I'm not sure if anybody else can. So her hair could be blowing in the wind. So, nice feature. But again, it just comes out way too easily and just bothers me a little bit. Looking up is not really going to be a thing unless you can move that ponytail around. No, you still can't because of the way the dumbbell joint is. She's still not really going to be able to look up. She's not really going to be able to look down all the way. Just a little bit. The shoulder, you can get the shoulder to go straight on out like so. You get a full rotation in that shoulder. So again, the shoulder blade will move with it. We got the upper bicep swivel in there. There goes the ponytail. Double jointed elbow, pinless, as you can see there. Wrists swivel and they do hinge. Oh, I forgot to mention the hands. The hinge is blue because it's it's got to match the back. It looks ugly in the front. These hands that I was talking about, these hands are definitely new because there's some sculpted detail in here that is not a big deal whatsoever, but it's kind of nice to see. Like you could see the knuckles and then like the fingernails. So the minor details and things are nice. Instead of just these flat surfaces on these hands, we get an actual like sculpted hand. I mean, look at the wrinkles in the skin and everything. Look at the palm. Nice details in the hands. I just appreciate when we get something that's a little bit better than what we had gotten before, and they can put tiny details in there. I don't think they're all that important, to be completely honest with you, because they're just hands and they're so small and nobody's really going to notice. But when they do something like that, it's like, oh, that's nice. Whoever did the sculpt, put some effort into it, and I can appreciate it. I can dig it. That's cool. So the wrists swivel and they do hinge. All standard horizontal hinge on all of them. We got a fist for the left, kind of like a flat hand for her left. I mean, fist for the right, flat hand for her left. And I think this is one where she can kind of like, touch her face kind of thing, or touch somebody else maybe. And then these hands are just like way open, expressive type hands. There. So getting to the torso, again, no upper torso, no diaphragm joint. She has the ball joint at the waist. So is it limited? Yes, it is. But it's not terrible. So she can actually tilt to her left that much. She can tilt to her right that much. That is pretty good. Going back is actually a hell of a lot more than I thought it would be. The hair looks weird without the ponytail. I'm going to put that back on. So she can go back a fair bit. That's cool. And coming forward, oh, you know what? You just gotta... she doesn't really hold in place when moving forward, though. That's like the thing. Like, you could, like, push it to its max there, but it won't hold, as you can see. So, still pretty good, and you do get the swivel in there with that ball joint. So, Hasbro has had ball jointed waists that haven't worked out too well, and then they have some that were decent, and I would put this in the decent column. I think she would be able to come forward a little bit more if it wasn't for the belt, because if you look, that belt is really crunching up. So that belt, as it sticks up a little bit, is what's holding her back, crunching forward. Legs go out that far apart. She can kick forward that far. Her legs don't go back really. Upper thigh cut in there, and they're pretty stiff, so be careful with that. Double jointed knee. They are pinless. You can see the kneecaps are a little bit darker than the legs, as they have a different type of plastic. It's a harder plastic versus a softer plastic, so the colors tend to not match perfectly, unfortunately. No calf swivel or leg swivel in any kind. Foot hinges down. You get some hinge up, not a whole lot. Ankle pivot, it's very stiff, but it is there, and peg holes at the bottom of the feet. So all in all, I am actually really damn happy with this Jean Grey. Like, I didn't think, I put it off to the end, and then work and things got in the way. I haven't gotten to the video. It's been a few days. But damn, this is a pretty damn good figure. Like, this is way better than I thought it was going to be. I thought this was going to be like the worst one in the wave, and I don't think it is. I'm gonna have to think about the ranking for this wave, but yeah, really good figure actually. Okay, so let's get a final look of those three Jean Grey figures all side by side there, and easily this new one just looks so much more, just looks better proportionately. The legs just look better because the other ones are just kind of a little bit warped and they're gummy. They have massive gauntlets on the other ones. So this one, in my opinion, just looks so much better. Just looks really good, and then moves around a whole hell of a lot better. In my opinion, the best one, but some people may have a soft spot for this one, or they may have for the VHS one. The cell shading is a bit much, but is pretty accurate to the show. Even the artwork on these cards show the cell shading of the characters. So like if you look at the Jean Grey one, you can see there's all kinds of cell shading in there. I don't care for the cell shading all that much, so I'm glad we have one with a clean look, but I wouldn't have mind maybe a little bit. I don't know. If it's done right, it looks good. This, I think, a bit much, but I get it. That was the theme, the concept of those figures are all cell shading to really match the animation style. This one, the style is in the sculpt and not the cell shading, which I can really appreciate. But there are the three Jean Greys. Let me know your favorite down in the comments below. Okay, so here are all Wave 2 figures together. We got Magneto, Goblin Queen, Nightcrawler, the X-cutioner, Cyclops, and Jean Grey. Pretty good roundup, actually. Magneto figure is really good. It's an interesting comic design for his suit. Yes, it was, inspired by the comics, an actual suit that he had. The X-cutioner figure is a fun one. I kind of like it. It's just super small. Nightcrawler, I really like. Goblin Queen surprised me quite a bit. Cyclops, we knew was going to be good, except that face sculpt, I'm not. His face looks sunken in on his left. It's weird. And then Jean Grey surprised me. If I were to rank this wave, I'm going to be honest with you, it's going to be a little bit tough. The Magneto figure, it's on the Vulcan body. We know what to expect. The head sculpts came out looking really, really good. Man, it's going to be tough. I'm probably going to put Cyclops at the bottom, only because we got the VHS cel-shaded one. So I knew what to expect with the body. The head sculpts, the optic blast head sculpt in effect piece, really nice. It's not enough for me to say, you know what, this is the best figure in the wave. I mean, it might be just overall, but like I'm putting emotion into it, right? Because I've already got basically the same Cyclops, really, really good one. So that's why for me, he's at the bottom. If you don't have that VH1, he's a must pick up, must buy. He really is. But I had that one. So like this one, it's like, oh, it's cool. Yeah, and, you know, it's official X-Men 97. But I got one that's really good. So that's the only reason why he's going to be at the bottom for me. The only reason why. And then I think the next is going to be Goblin Queen, I would say. And then Magneto. No, you know what? Cyclops at the bottom. Number 6. Number 5, Magneto. Number 4, Goblin Queen. Number 3, the X-cutioner. Number 2, Jean Grey. Number 1, Nightcrawler. That is a surprising ranking. Like, if you would have asked me before I looked at any of the figures, I don't think it was going to go that way. But, you know, Magneto is solid. Nightcrawler, I love the Nightcrawler figure. Really, 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 really good figure. If you don't have the previous Nightcrawler, he's an absolute pickup. If you have the previous Nightcrawler figure, this guy's a pickup because he's a really good upgrade. So things to think about there. Goblin Queen is an unexpectedly fun one as well. Yes, she's got heels that make it a pain in the ass. Yes, that big ass cape and stuff really, you know, adds weight to the torso and she wants to lean back. But it's a really good looking figure. So there's all those things that kind of come into play. So you guys let me know down in the comments below, how would you rank this wave? Is a bit trickier for me than I would have thought. Jean Grey was a surprise hit. Really was. Cyclops, my expectations were already high because I knew it was going to be a solid figure. Head sculpt's a little, this head sculpt lets me down a little bit, but you know, there's all those things. So let me know how you guys would rank this wave down in the comments below. Okay, so here are all the X-Men 97 figures, waves 1 and wave 2, all together. I also, and man, I don't know where I have it right now. I got the Titan Hero series, the X-Men 97 Sentinel. And I would love to include that here as I stand up and like look around and figure, where the hell did I put that thing? Man, I've got it. I bought it. And I don't know where the hell I put that thing. Did I buy it? I thought I bought it. Anyway, that might be a video that I do after I return from Disneyland. I want to check that out to see how the Sentinel looks because, you know, we had an official clip that released that showed the Sentinels and they were fighting. It was really awesome. And I'd love to see how it looks compared to these guys. Obviously, that Sentinel is going to be a little bit short because it's not going to be truly in scale. But it's going to look really cool. So I'm excited for the show. Reviews seem to be really good. People really enjoyed the first 3 episodes that, you know, the press and critics and stuff they got to see. So I'm excited. You guys let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Are you excited for the show? What do you think of these figures? Which one is your favorite? Let me know down in the comments below. If you guys like this video, please do me a favor and hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe if you haven't already done so. And as always, thank you for watching.